we are so governed in the world of wildlife biology through the states and stuff. They're not going to let animals, they're not going to let humans ruin animal populations, I don't think, anymore.
No, of course.
If anything's going to happen, they're going to mess it up and let animal populations get too big.
Right.
I was, and I don't know if I don't know the name or whatever, but I was with some guys with Wyoming, and, you know, we're talking about grizzly bears.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, you know, because they brought up, you know, grizzly bear problems, and I said, well, what is the deal? And they said, well, there's 1,500 or 14 to 1,500 grizzly bears in Wyoming. There needs to be 500 to 600, and 5 of the 1,500 are only hunting humans. Like,
what?
Have totally.
But there's not that many human deaths.
Well, you've bet in Yellowstone. If you pay attention, there's about 2 or 3 that get
right. But those 500 grizzly bears that are just hunting humans.
No, five,
five,
not 500.
So there's 5 grizzly bears.
Right. There's like
so
5 grizzly. Sorry, this probably won't be the first time I am not totally clear with you, but yeah. So there's 1,400 to 1,500. There needs to be 500 to 600 grizzlies, but of those 5 to 6, all of them, 5 of them have like, oh, we don't care about salmon anymore. We want to sit by this trail and pick off this hiker.
Jesus,
and
Christ.
That is a high up biologist in Wyoming telling me that, and I'm like, well, why won't they let y'all go in there? Let some hunters think about the. You can do the math. Do a $30,000 grizzly bear tag.
Mm-hmm.
Do a $20,000 one. They'll go for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Go in and manage it right. But there's one federal judge that's got it all shut down. One judge.
That's so crazy. My friend went moose hunting, said he saw no moose and he saw 12 grizzlies in Wyoming.
I went on a bear hunt in Alberta, and there's so many grizzlies now you can't even go. It was through Cam's people.
John and Jen.
Yeah. I saw them recently, and they've had to move.
Yeah, they move areas. Yeah, they have
because
abandoned areas because they're overrun with grizzlies. They sent me some trail cam pics. They're terrifying. Like little school buses. They look like school buses, like the size of these fucking grizzlies.
What was it you that was talking about they were trying to determine a male grizzly versus a male gorilla and who would win? Did we ever?
I think I'm on Team Grizzly.
Me too.
Because they eat things and kill things every day. Gorillas just, they fight. They just they puff their chest out and they mostly eat grass.
Well, but when you think about $40,000 per grizzly, and then the guiding fee,
yeah,
and then the taxidermy,
yeah.
Think about the taxidermist.
And then the Pittman Roberts, people need to understand all the gear, everything, 10% of that goes to wildlife management. All of it.
And then at the end of that, nobody's going to let the grizzlies get
exterminated. Yeah.
Right.
They're overpopulated now.
And then when you look at the population, how beautiful the elk population is in Colorado, and how amazingly managed it is in Colorado for public hunters. For a guy like me that can go get an over-the-counter tag, I think they're probably going to wipe out over-the-counter tags for out-of-staters.
They're going to make it a draw tag.
And then, now the wolves get to eat them, and I don't get to bring my elk hunting money in and give it to the...
Right.
But
the thing is, they always say that they're going to get to a certain level of the population, and then they're going to open it up for management. But they don't.
Wolf management?
Yeah. But what happens is people sue. And the wildlife, all the people that love wolves, they sue. And when they sue, they stop the hunt, and then it has to go to court, and it has to get decided. And if you get a radical judge like this judge that you said that's in Wyoming,
and these are all things that people in the know are telling me. So Lord, I don't need a judge somewhere in Wyoming pulling my files.
No, you're probably right. Everyone that I know that hunts there says that there's a lot of grizzly bears, and it's concerning because you don't see all of them. If you see a lot of them, there's a lot more than you don't see because most of them are not just out in the open hanging out with you. Most of them are deep in the woods.
Well, and so I went on a salmon trip up in British Columbia. And 99% of your interpretation of a grizzly is this big old fat chunky thing. Well, so we're flying in on these helicopters to go fish the salmon runs that are running up into the mountains of British Columbia, and it's an amazing trip. Like, you fly over in the helicopter, you look down, you see the huge schools of salmon, you take your fly rod and you go catch them and drink your beer. Well, the helicopter pilot was like, hey man, we've seen some grizzlies in the area, and at the time we're like, man, this is all part of the
experience.
Yeah, it's like get us kind of going a little bit. Well, we land, and the night before we didn't fish that day, so we'd flown in and drank some wine, and dude, my eyes are like fuzzy, and we're fishing, and I tell my guy I'm with, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the helicopter and get a beer or something, and dude, I get there and I pop my beer, and I'm like, I look down the river and I'm like, fuck, that is a fucking grizzly coming toward my buddy. And I went, Jay, and dude, it was slim and like it was lean and like a greyhound. Not, I wouldn't say lean, but it hadn't got all fat on salmon yet. Well, it comes down the bank and jumps in, and we ease back to the helicopter. We look back, here comes another grizzly, literally 30 yards from us. And I'm like, we get there, and I'd left my beer on the bank, and my grizzly sticks his tongue in my beer, and then he jumps in the river. I run, grab the beer, drink. I'm like, grizzly spit. Anyway, the helicopter pilot goes,
you did not drink a beer.
I had a sip of it after. I had to.
But that's like,
yeah,
what
he
kind
just
of
like
trichinosis and wild shit you gotta get from that?
Some berry infection or whatever, salmon infection.
Moose ass.
So listen, dude, we get on the helicopter, and the pilot's like, man, they're getting too comfortable. We take off, fly a mile down the river. I'd already had my fly rod together. I never broke it down, so I sat it in the little basket, and we land. I take off about 200 yards, start fishing. And I had to slide down this like 20-foot cut bank where the river had cut the bank. I look across the river, and here comes a grizzly bear galloping.
Oh boy! On
the other side of the river. And I'm like, well, I'd already seen the other two mature ones, and I was like, well, that's a baby grizzly. I was like, that's cute. Dude, that grizzly hits that bank on the other side of that river and jumps about 20 feet in the air and lands in that river. It looked like a Volkswagen VW Bug hit that river. I take off to the helicopter. All my guys are like, get here, get here. A mother and two of the babies were on my tail.
Oh, my God.
And when I got to the helicopter, dude, ruined my whole trip. I couldn't relax.
That's when it gets scary, when you're around the mothers.
Oh, they're the ones that...
they fuck everybody up.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah, they don't play any games. When they have their cubs with them, they don't take any chances. Like, I'm going to incapacitate this dude.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
It is... So that was my grizzly encounter.
I wish all these people that get to vote, unlike BC, when BC outlawed grizzly bear hunting, I wish all those people that experience, you should have to experience what it's actually like there. You should have to see.